I don't have to block myself off, if you will, from the stream of my own divinity by believing that I am more or less, bigger or better. All of these things are they're nebulous. They are without core, without the center. There's nothing there. So they're just ideas, and like most ideas, trying to think of something that isn't false, and I'm not coming up with it. But I'll just say, like most ideas, they're false, and because if we look at them, they are very definitely relative. How do we know? Because it's, well, I have the agenda, and I see how things should be going. Well, where's the I? I can't find the I. I can't find that. It's a false reference to a center that does not exist. And so long as, and I have to be careful about my language, because I will convince myself that it does, and that it's here, and that it's right, and this and that and the other, attractive, and all the other stuff that goes with it. And then I'm living in a fantasy world that is either, and by degree it's skillful or unskillful, but the idea that I get it and others don't, that it's, I don't know that it's always harmful, but it's certainly never true. But relatively, it will look, feel, and seem true. I try very hard not to claim a position of specialness as a spiritual teacher, and it's hard because you get the opportunity to declare yourself special every single day, every single email that you get, and you get an email with praise, and it's like, yeah, of course. And then you get somebody that says you're a dick, and you're just wounded, right? So I try not to take the good ones with much seriousness, and I try not to take the bad ones with much seriousness either. And therefore, I stay out of the fray of my own ego, because my ego will kick up some dust given an opportunity. And one of the ways that I do that is recognizing that when I say I do that, I can only be referring to awakeness, but I will tell you that it feels like Fred, and that Fred will make judgments about absolutely everything. And I am not only judge, but as we have heard about, I am judge, jury, and executioner. And that's only, however, that only takes place if I think I'm a Fred to begin with. So the key is to come back to the truth in an humble way, as best we can manage it, of our own divinity. Because when we realize that there is only the divine, there's no opposition to the divine. There is unskillfulness abounding within relativity, no question about that. But that too is the divine. It is just playing out the only way that it can. And when I claim a position, now I've got a bar everyone should be crossing. But there's no bar. So maintaining the understanding that there is only divinity, which unbelievably must also include this, then I can have respect for the divinity here and try to play up what I find instead of play it down. And I can't tell you that always happens here. I can tell you it mostly does happen. And over any length of time, it always happens. I'll be outraged over something that, is happening in the Middle East or in Ukraine or something like that, or, whatever, or the price of milk, or, when the mail got here. It doesn't take a big international conflict to raise up my specialness. Just knowing when the mail should be here and it's not is quite enough. So coming back, as I talk about so often, coming back to the deep truth. And the deep truth is that there is a sense of being. That's not even a declaration of being. There's a sense of being. So as this, I can't be outside of that sense of being. I can't be other than that sense of being, because the only way I can exist is within the sense of being. But whatever it is that, quote, I am, meaning the divinity, I don't know what that is, but whatever it is that I am, I don't know what that is. I know that its nature is divine. There's no question about that. And it is, and at least in my experience, it's infallible. So, but I don't know what it is, meaning I sort of know what I am in the sense of divinity, but I don't know what divinity really is. I can't spell it out. So in the absence of assuredness about what I am, I can't possibly know what's going on here. I just don't. I mean, there's a story here, and it's kind of like your clicks, and it's a zillion little clicks and things and operations that are occurring automatically. But I don't know what, on a relative level, I don't know what this is, actually. I mean, I know that we call it a human body and all this, but the reason we call it a human body is that we named it a human body. And so it's now an agreement. But when I look past the agreements, which is a little bit like what your vision, if you will, is trying to lead you toward, I think, then what happens is I don't know what I am. I don't know what's going on here. And therefore, there is no possible way that I could know what should be going on here. And in the absence of knowing what should be going here, I'm just left with what is going on here. Or we shorten it to what is. There's just what is, and I don't know what this is. I call it world. But when I call it world, I'm assuming that this thing is a human being. It's a unit. It's a body. I'm voting for the relative. And so all of my declarations will be grounded in relativity if I'm being judgmental. And I don't mean harshly judgmental either. It can be, boy, this is the best thing this is the best ice cream in the world. Whatever. That's my declaration, but it's an empty declaration because there's my here. What I can notice is, tasty. That's what I can know, is that this is tasty, and that is relative to the taste buds and the preferences here. Recognizing that everything is out of my so-called power is the way to come to the humility of recognizing I just don't know what should be going on here. So I'm not knowing what should be going on here. How do I know what's wrong? And in the absence of knowing what's wrong, I'm just stuck with this. And in the absence of comparison, I notice this seems to be okay. And hence we become grounded in a great okayness that is not of our understanding.